Once upon a time in a faraway land, there lived a very powerful and respected king. He was admired not only for his strength and courage, but also for his wisdom and fairness. Now, this king had a very wise minister, a man who never seemed to lose his calm and who always seemed to have a kind word and a helping hand for everyone. This minister was loved by all, including the king, who trusted him more than anyone else in his kingdom. Now, this minister had a very peculiar habit. No matter what happened, whether good or bad, he would always say, "Perhaps it's for the best." People thought this was very strange, but no one could understand why he always said this. They all wanted to know what he meant by those words. One day, while the king was out hunting in the forest, he accidentally cut his finger with a sharp thorn. The cut was deep and it bled a lot. The king was furious and annoyed. He shouted, "Oh, why did this happen to me? Who's responsible for this wound?" The king's companions tried to calm him down, but he wouldn't listen. Seeing this, the wise minister said calmly, "Perhaps it's for the best." The king was shocked to hear this, and even more shocked that the minister didn't seem to be bothered by the situation at all. "How can you say that? Look at my hand. It's bleeding and it hurts," the king exclaimed. "Don't you have anything better to say?" The minister only smiled and said, "My king, sometimes we don't realize it, but even bad things happen for a reason. Perhaps this is a sign for us to slow down and appreciate the little things in life," but the king wasn't convinced. He angrily ordered, "Put him in prison, and let's see if that's for the best too." The minister was put in a dark, damp cell with a cold stone floor. The next day, the king went hunting again, but this time he went alone. He was careless and didn't see where he was going and soon found himself lost in the middle of the forest. He walked for hours until he came across a small village. The villagers were friendly and invited him to rest in their guest house. That night, as the king was telling them stories about his kingdom, they heard a loud commotion outside. When they went to see what was happening, they saw a group of fierce warriors surrounding a campfire. These were the same warriors the king had sent to put the minister to prison. "We've come to take our prisoner back," they shouted to the villagers. "He is needed for a very important ritual tomorrow." The villagers were confused. "Ritual? What do you mean?" they asked. The warriors said, "We need a healthy and strong man to sacrifice to our gods. We chose the minister because he is perfect for the ritual." The villagers were horrified, but the king knew he had to do something. He stepped forward and said, "I will take his place. After all, he was my prisoner." The warriors agreed and took the king back to their camp. They tied him up and prepared him for the sacrifice. But just as they were about to start the ritual, the leader of the warriors noticed that the king's hand was bandaged. "Why is that?" he asked. The king removed his bandage, revealing his injured finger. The leader of the warriors exclaimed, "Oh no, we can't sacrifice a man with a wounded finger. Our gods demand that the sacrifice be whole and unblemished." He turned to the king and said, "We're sorry, but you are unfit for our sacrifice. You may go now." The king was, of course, very happy to hear this. He thanked the warriors and hurried back to his kingdom. As soon as he entered his palace, he ordered for the minister to be brought before him. The king was filled with remorse and apologized to the minister. "I am sorry I doubted you. Please forgive me," he said. "You were right. It really was for the best." The minister only smiled and said, "It's all right, my king. I knew you would understand." The king was still curious about one thing, though. "But what about me? You were imprisoned because of me. How was that good for you?" The minister replied, "My king, if I had not been in prison, I would have gone hunting with you. And when they saw your finger missing, they would have taken me instead." The king was stunned. He had never thought of it like that before. He hugged the minister and said, "Thank you for saving my life. I don't know what I would have done without you." From that day on, the king never doubted the minister's words again. In fact, whenever something bad happened, he would say, "Perhaps it's for the best," just like the minister, and that's the end of the story.